Parenting is the hardest job, and there is not a close second. Raising high-performing teen athletes or performers? That's a high-stakes job. I'm Nate Crandall, joined by fellow certified high-performance coach Steve Galley. We coach ambitious parents like you, and also your high-performing teens, because when you both level up, connection and results don't just improve, they multiply. Welcome to the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast. We have some burning questions for you.
How much is too much?
Oh, this sounds like the opening line that my coach gives me every time. Nate, how much is too much?
Are we talking about frosting? Are we talking about chocolate? I remember my mom used to say, that's way too much frosting. And I'm like, how much, how can you have too much frosting?
Depends on the frosting.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. There's some kinds of frosting where it's too much, but if you get the right kind of frosting, there's no limit. So, are we talking about frosting?
No, we're not talking about frosting. We're talking about the life of a teenage athlete or performer.
Yes.
And you could probably also relate this to your adult life.
Well, I'm going to argue, I think we actually get into this problem as adults because we get trained to do it when we're teens. We try to do too many things. We got our sports, we got our social, we got our school, and as parents, we really turn up the heat on, oh man, you got to do school. You got to do well in everything. Like it's I think we drill it into it. And now, like you and I, we were talking and getting ready for this episode about how much we've tried to do in our career arcs. And just overwhelming ourselves at times with how busy we get.
The badge of busyness. I wore it proudly.
Yep. I'm
not going to argue with your argument. I think you're right. We get trained in this as teenagers. And if you're a go-getter, if you're competitive, if you're in, and usually that is the case if you're in sports or you're in competition activities. And so, you just figure this is the way.
You got to do it. You got to, if you're in pursuit of scholarships, if you're in pursuit of excellence, you've got to get the great grades. You got to get the high test scores. You got to perform socially. You've got to be on student council. You've got to have all these friends. And I'll tell you what, social media has magnified this, that it's almost a part-time job. In fact, I'd argue it is a very time-consuming part-time job for a lot of these kids to maintain their social media presence. With dances, Steve, it's crazy. I don't know if you've seen all the posters, the way the kids ask and go to these dances. My goodness, it's an extra 5 to 10 hours of work just to.
Yeah, we used to just walk up to somebody and say, "Hi, Lisa, would you like to go to the dance with me?"
Or fill their car with popcorn.
Yeah,
no poster board required.
So, hey, Coach Crandall, by the way, today's weather, unreal where we're at. Unseasonably warm. We're in the low 70s.
You see the sun blazing in behind me here.
We got spring training, baseball, spring sports. The tulips are starting to poke their heads through the ground, and spring is almost here.
Spring has sprung, and it's beautiful, and we love it.
So speaking of baseball, we're going to throw just some easy fastballs down the middle.
Yeah.
Something pretty easy. But we have a curveball coming up. So if you stick with us, we're going to throw a curveball at you, parents. So hope you're digging in and your knees aren't going to buckle. So what are the fastballs? What are we going to talk about that kids need to?
Here's the fastball. If you have a high-performing teen that's trying to be good at things, there's basically three main areas. There's school, there's their sport, and then there's the social aspect of it. And you can only do 2 out of the 3 really well.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Tough stuff. Because when you try to do all 3 well, this is where the stress levels go way up. The effectiveness goes way down. And you could get into the nerdy Daniel Kahneman research, system 1, system 2, and why we can't multitask on these things that matter.
Well, but it's very similar to the whole multitasking thing.
Yes, it is.
You can multitask, but your performance in every single area is going to drop.
And the more important things are, and the more time consuming and focus consuming they are, the harder it is to try to do something like that. And the bigger the discrepancy, the bigger the gaps in performance become. So this is really worth having that conversation about with your kids. Social, sports, school. You can only do 2 out of the 3 great. Which 2 are you going to choose?
I know what some kids would want to choose.
Well, kids are going to default to sports and social, but not necessarily in that order. And this is why we talk so much about the idea all progress starts with the truth. If your teen is not willing to be honest, 100% honest about which of those 3 matters the most to them, you're going to be dealing with some problems. And then you as parents, you're going to have your list. And for most of us, we're going to say, oh, school's the most important. But is that us being honest? Because we love to say school's important and it's easy to get on the kids and, oh, you got to get all your homework done. You got to get straight A's. But then sports comes in and we're like, okay, we put all our money and time and energy and effort and we send the message to our kids that sports is most important. So they might be getting a mixed message from us as parents. On top of them sending themselves a mixed message because they're like, oh yeah, school matters to me. But then a girl walks by and they forget everything they've ever learned.
So Dad Crandall, Father Crandall, what would you
I should put on my priestly garb.
would you do in that situation if they are being honest and they said, hey, social life and sports they're my top 2 out of these 3?
I have to check myself as a parent. I got to be on the same page with my spouse. And if that's what's important to my teen, I might need to kind of swallow it a little bit on school. Now, I could do some persuading because I'm going to come in and say, well, I think school and sports are the 2 most important. And we could have a conversation, but that's what we're all about on the show, Steve.
Right.
That's what we talk about so much. And that's a critical conversation. And if I, as a dad, can't listen to my kids' honest opinion that sports and social matter the most to him and value that opinion and listen to him and allow him to make some decisions, I'm not doing my job as well as I could. And that's hard because I know I want to say school matters so much.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to jump in with the question only conversation, one of our favorite tools, the QOC tool. It would be so easy to become an advice monster here. And
or a dictator.
You know all the reasons why school is important.
Yes.
Whether it's and we're not just talking about you and I share the same opinion of grades, actual grades, but it's the prioritization, it's the discipline, it's the routine, and of course, all of the learning that is possible. There's so many things that are important about school. And boy, it would be so easy just to say, listen to me, when we want parents to flip this around, because you can still get across the same points and that you can still get the same information to them. But boy, is it better if you are asking them the questions and getting them to talk about this. Because then you can start merging, moving towards one another and come to some type of agreement about where school fits into this.
Yep. And that's so important to do. I love how you're encouraging parents to utilize that question-only conversation. This is a critical one to do it on because we have our opinions, we have evidence, we've got life experience that we can bring to the table with that. But this isn't about our life experience. It's about the experience they're having. And we can coach them using pointed questions, targeted questions. And the QOC helps you come up with some great questions that you can use to have this important conversation. Because it creates clarity. And that's the most important thing when you're trying to be busy. Clarity leads to productivity. Clarity leads to better energy. Clarity leads to more courage. Clarity leads to more influence. Like everything flows from clarity. But if they're not sure and you're not sure and you're not sure together, that's why it gets ugly. And we haven't even thrown a curveball yet, Steve.
I know. Are you ready to throw the curve? Well, I'm not ready for the curveball yet, Coach Crandall, but I am going to throw you a couple of pitches.
Yes, sir.
these
Hard sliders?
these are going to be
Inside
high and
part of the
tight.
plate?
Inside part of the
Nice.
plate. It's going to make you a little bit uncomfortable.
Okay.
If you have a teen and they rank the 3 and school comes up, numero 3-0, it's in 3rd place.
Okay.
What is a question that you could ask them to begin this question-only conversation that will help draw out the information that you need and is going to help them to start thinking about this in a different way?
It may seem a little bit roundabout, but asking them what do they value most about the social and what do they value most about the sports? And start getting them to talk, allow them to share why those two things are so valuable to them. And then as they give you more information, that allows you to tailor some other questions that might be able to bring school into the conversation, not in a you have to do this kind of way, but along the lines of how could school help you to be even better as an athlete? Or how could you utilize school to be even better socially? And start introducing a value where school can at least connect in some way to those.
I like this approach. It's an interesting approach because I think the normal, natural would be to immediately start focusing on school and trying to lead them into something. But you're actually focusing on the two that they love the most and get them talking about it and what they value most about it. I like it. This is why you're so good.
It's a long road. That parenting is the hardest job and there's not a close second. And this is a part of why. It's the patient approach. But you earn credibility with your kids. You back up the idea that you're telling them, I trust you, I believe in you, I care about you, I'm willing to listen to you and what's important. And so it's a chance to validate them and allow yourself to get some traction.
I like that. Give that a shot, parents. Should we throw the curveball?
Let's hang it on up there.
We're gonna add a number 4. So besides the social life, besides the school, besides the sports, and I hope you don't throw your bat and your helmet on this one, Coach Crandall, because I know you have some strong opinions about this.
Yeah, we've got the automatic review of pitches now. So
is that coming in this year?
They're doing it in the preseason. It's been kind of cool.
Interesting. Okay, here's the curveball. A job.
Oh boy.
We're adding number 4, a job. A job is so good for kids. It's so good.
It is.
They
job's
earn some
great.
money. They have to learn how to work for somebody, work with other people. It's so good. And it's not even on our list.
No.
Why? Okay, go for it.
I just have to let.
We usually do the nerd timer with you. I'm going to go soapbox timer. You got 30 seconds. Go.
Well, this is the impossible situation that we put kids in, and we don't necessarily even realize we're doing it. We want them to earn money. We want them to pay for some of the things. We want them to pay for their gas, their dates, things like that, but they have to get a job for that. Well, even a part-time job is going to be 15 to 20 hours a week, maybe even more. So they can start making some of that money. But you throw a job on top of school, social, and sports, where are they going to get the time? And we had an episode where we talked about sleep and how important that is.
They usually lose sleep.
That's what gets taxed. And so we start taking away from sleep to try to support this. Well, we can do 3 of the 4, or we can try to do all 4. And every family's going to have their own situation, and we're not telling anybody what to do. And some kids actually have to have a job to help support their family. And this is why clarity matters. Because when you are clear about what's really important and why you're getting the job and why these other things matter, it allows you to structure and be more productive. Because you can do these things, you just have to get surgical with the way you set up the schedule. And that's a super adult skill. And so it's good for kids to try to learn some of these things. But if you as a parent can't or aren't doing the best at coaching them as they're trying to navigate this, they're going to get overwhelmed really fast. And then that taxes your relationship with them even more.
Parents, let's get surgical.
Nate Crandall and Steve Galley would like to thank you for tuning in to this episode. If you love what you're experiencing and learning from the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast, please like, comment, and or leave a glowing review of this episode and the show. And to further help Nate and Steve expand their reach and impact thousands of parents, athletes, and performers, please share the show and subscribe to the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast channel on YouTube. And if you want to explore further to see what Nate and Steve are creating to help parents of athletes and performers everywhere, please visit their website at createtransformbecome.com. That's createtransformbecome, all one word, .com. There you will find a growing number of tools and resources to help you elevate your parenting. Thanks again for tuning in. Now go create a magical relationship with your athlete or performer.